am the product manager of the plan and progress tools here at InEight. That entails being in charge of the roadmap for both plan and progress, really determining what's important for us to build inside of the solution to get as much use from the broadest range of people possible, as well as making sure we're hitting customer commitments that we have to certain customers to really help solve their problems. 16 years ago, I started with TIC at a college as a field coordinator, field engineer for concrete on a cement plant in Colorado. Got the job with TIC, went to site actually in the same town that I was in, and just stuck around there and did the field engineer thing with them. Ended up taking over structural steel and making sure all the steel was on site. From there, went to a job out in the middle of Nebraska, a power plant out there as the subcontract coordinator. So did that out there. And then I went to probably the most important job in my life outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was a EPC power plant. So from design all the way through commissioning, ended up holding just a ton of roles out there. Started as the civil concrete field engineer, took over the cost controls on that one, ended up taking over part of the scheduling on that, did a lot of the project engineering work on that. So I think I was supposed to be out there for 9 months. I ended up being out there for 28 months on that one project. So really got to see it from start to finish. That was really cool. Learned tons and tons of stuff there. So from there, went to what they called a rotation at the Kiko district at the time, doing estimating. So jumped into estimating at that point, doing second estimates for Kiewit Power mostly. But that was the same time that Kiewit ended up buying Hard Dollar at the end of that 18 months. And I became what was called a super user for TIC then. So learned the system, understood the system, and took that back to TIC in Denver to help deploy the tool on the software side there. And that's really where I kind of just fell in love with that side instead. So learned to estimate, became a lead estimator there, but really just loved that tool, loved doing the processes with it, loved interacting with the Hard Dollar team to see if we could get certain enhancements that would make it better. So one day this popped up for this plan and progress tool for me to actually join InEight, and I jumped at that, just knowing that I could be part of making that tool, making a different tool that I could be part of that would help other people do what I used to do when I was in the field. I leaned more towards the civil side because I had actually both of my grandpas were kind of in construction. One of them worked at the steel mill in Pueblo, Colorado. The other one put up it's called lathing on the side of houses for stucco. So if you're not familiar with that, it's just like chicken wire that they put over the tar paper. So when they put the stucco on, the stucco doesn't fall off. So he did that for years and years, but he was more just a handyman around everywhere. So he built a family cabin up in the mountains, like in the 60s. And he always, if something broke at your house, he was over there helping you fix it. So it was just kind of being around him, doing projects with him the whole time that kind of pushed me towards that more construction, more civil side than anything else. I enjoy building a tool that 15 years ago I would have loved to use. I don't think a lot of people who haven't done it before understand how difficult it is being on like a big power plant build or a mine build or a mega project like that. It really consumes your whole life. You get up first thing in the morning and you get out there and you're working 10 to 12 hour days, driving 30 minutes, an hour and a half to get there in the first place. You kind of bond with everyone out on the job site. So you become a family out there, and then you come home and you like to think that you're going to get into the gym and work out, or you're going to do something else and fall asleep on the couch. Like it's an exhausting, all encompassing thing. So for me to be able to build something that makes somebody's life even like 10% better while they're out on one of those projects, that kind of makes me happy, man. It makes me think that they have a little bit more energy when they get home to play with their kids, to talk with their husband or wife, just to help that out, because there are so many great people that I've met in my life that are still on those job sites doing those things, and they've taught me so much. So just being able to give a little bit back in the form of maybe some ease of use or some time at the end of the day, that just makes me happy. I want to just keep on doing that. The trades in general are like an underutilized career path that people can go into and be very happy and have a very great career in construction. I know a guy that went to a trade school, got his welding certificate, and now he's an area manager of a very big construction company, right? He came up through the trades, and that path to like an executive is, I would say, a little bit more rare, but I would say from the people around him, far more respected, right? Like you can't get anything past that guy as an area manager, like looking at an estimate, right? He's been in the field for 20 years before he went to the office. And now his knowledge and just knowing how to build a project it can't surpass it from anyone else. So there is a route through even to the support side of construction through the field. And I think that's underutilized. And I would say even to that, like the engineers inside of theirs, getting an engineering job, if you're a mechanical engineer, a civil engineer, electrical engineer, take a look at going to the field and being in construction first. The best design engineers that I had ever worked with were either in the field for 6 months to a year, so they actually see the stuff that they're designing, see how it works out when it actually gets installed. A lot of our time is spent as field coordinators trying to manage conflicts between different crafts, because you might have a designer that had never designed a piping system for a power plant before and didn't coordinate well enough with the structural steel engineer. So like some piping was going right through a support member, stuff like that. So even on the engineering side in construction, take a look at being out in the field first. I know a lot of the big engineering firms that we work with now have some sort of program where they make sure they get their people in the office, they train them to be a designer, then they get them out in the field for a year. That's going to help advance your career more than talking to people. Getting out there and actually building the projects is just like the best experience that you could get on that side. And then in technology, just be a problem solver. If you like solving problems and out there and you're building stuff, and it seems like you start adopting to technology pretty quick. So if you go through that way instead of going the just straight technology route, get on with the company. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think we stand apart because the stuff we design, we were all the users of that technology in the field first. So we know the pain points. We know how to talk to those people in the field because they know that we've been there, we've done that. We're taking that sort of thing in consideration when we're designing the software.